As the playlist develops from chill to insane, we go to Game 3, where the insanity, I'm sure, will continue. But insanity is not always a bad thing, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Jake Penka, joined by Barento Raz Muhammad. And with Snake and WE, you put them together, and what do you get? You get the perfect burger, one where you get a bit of the chicken, bit of the beef, whatever you're into.
Chicken
the combination tastes good.
What kind of burger is this?
It's a top tier burger. Have you never not had chicken and beef in a burger?
In the same time?
Yeah.
Hell no.
I don't know how you're living, man, but I don't want to be you. This is a good day for League of Legends. And I say that because we've gone the distance with a WE and Snake series. Bit of fighting here, bit of fighting there, but a lot of control, it seems, from WE.
I like where this is going. The control was there from W, you're right. A lot of it was just like, picture perfect. We saw the double AD carry with Braum in game 1, and I thought that was well executed. They should have won game 1. But should have, would have, could have. At least you have a best of 3 that you can go back towards.
Sure.
In North America or EU, it's done. You just pack it up. You just lost the series.
There we go.
But they get a second chance to be able to come back in it. And I think they can just go back to the same exact composition. xiye is manhandling the mid lane. And then we get to see what's essentially Mystic just doing so well. I mean, like, if you get consistent performances like this, you deserve what's coming to you.
Both Mystic and xiye have been farming above the clock, but it's no doubt that xiye in game number 2, almost on the corky the second time around, this time more successful, wins out MVP.
Yeah, so congratulations that this time around going to be able to pick it. Look at that! 6,699, and that's just like goal difference at end of the game.
The damage percentage.
He was accruing a lot of gold. The damage percentage, 45%. I wish they would have highlighted that one, personally.
I mean, they just wanted to show how much bigger he was than Marla, and in a lot of these later fights, it was just xiye 100-0 instantly.
He was huge, like constantly being able to pick out major targets. This was missing being able to pick up the fight immediately. 24 minutes into the game, you already really just saw the Trinity Force picked up, but it was Mystic that was able to dive through. So the major heroes for this one was Missing and Mystic. So I thought both of them worked out very well. Could have been very easily Mystic's MVP there.
Sure.
But Corki damage, if he's able to farm up that excellently, get to that state of the game, you get what's coming to you. Like, if you have, like, legitimately another late game damage threat like a Jayce, and you're still able to provide 45% of damage, well, you know what?
Not bad.
You're good.
Yeah.
Like, you're fine.
That's right. Okay, all right, Raz.
What's up?
This is the part where I say,
okay,
but why don't we ban Corki then if we're Snake? And that's wrong. You know why?
Why?
Because we said before the break that they should be looking at Jarvan, taking it away, or maybe banning it if you're Snake Esports.
Yeah, because like the reality for the mid lane in particular is that Mala's got his best champion. The Lissandra right now is the best champion in the meta. You get easy shove on your own. So give the Corki away, and you know that you're going up against what is a much later game scaling composition. That's the WE saying they're backing away from the early game.
Yep.
And Snake have full control, or at least like the intent of full control. Like in game 1 it was a little worse because SofM constantly ended up finding himself underneath the tower and dying on that one.
Yeah.
In game 2 is much better. He wasn't nailing the kill per se, but he was so close to being able to get the kill on Jarvan, pushing him off of his camps. The experience advantage was there, but that's not enough of an early game lead, and that's why I was saying that the Jarvan should be now handed off towards Snake, because I want to be able to see the flag and drag be able to beat, giving you the opportunities through mid, and just like the Cataclysm that's been so influential in a lot of these fights to be in Snake's hand.
SofM wasn't given one of those fights where he could actually turn it and change it to Snake's favor as well in game number 2. Game 1, there was that open-ended fight that you said in the open space, just favored Snake purely because, yes, Asura had a lead on a hyper carry, but also because in game 1, SofM could roam around knowing that WE weren't in the right position.
Yeah, so it's just like create that opportunity. The fact that in that instance, like Lee Sin kick was so influential because there was so much chaos at that point that he can be able to get an insta kill on a xiye.
Yeah.
This time around, you have 2 major points of difference from game 1 to game 2. The Fiora split push. So now time difference is there going to be is going to be in favor of WE. They can wait however long they want around a Baron objective, and then if they wait the right amount of time, as you already saw in the replay, headbutt pulverize comes through.
Yeah, Alistar's been a big pick in this series. I'm glad that, just back to the top lane, that we saw the Fiora on posts. Really exciting to me when you see a rookie take a competitive matchup into someone like Flandre, or would say the same against the Shy, you know, any of these established top laners in the league, where you'd say that the rookie does have a chance of, falling in a favorable matchup.
I just love like a lot of the new rookies in the league. I think Post is just, even though he hasn't had the best start as a team, as an individual, I think his first few weeks were a little bit rough.
Yep.
But he started out with a Vladimir and at times Fiora that really have a lot of faith in the rest of the team. How those picks end up like benefiting the team really depends on how long the game ends up going, so they can get their items. You don't get your items, and if you're playing well within your own lane, that doesn't matter. You're still not able to dish out the damage that your team requires you for. So I just love the fact that now the team is benefiting from beishang coming in.
Yeah.
They can get to the late game. And so now you start to see a lot more from Post.
Let's remind you all of beishang. His entrance into WE has made such a big difference that the stats have almost tripled throughout the team entirely. And this is when you know that, the fresh blood that's coming into WE is a good reminder that WE can eventually one day potentially return to the form with Mystic and Missing still on the lineup and xiye. And of course the form I talk about is 2017 Worlds. As the biggest news story here is going to be Snake, which I forgot to mention here, is that Marla is going to be changing out for Andy.
Andy coming in. This is fun for me because this is the first game that I'm going to be coming in just casting for Andy. I followed him for when he was on Voodoo Gaming on LPL. He's a really explosive mid laner. Come out, he's well known for his Yasuo pick. So everybody and their mama knows about his Yasuo and it ends up never seeing play. It could trick a few people, a few statisticians that look into his pick managers, but he's only rarely picked the Yasuo.
Yeah.
But you just see every team end up banning it away from him. You're like, that makes a lot of sense. Jayce is a pick that he's actually gone back to a little bit more consistently because that doesn't see bans and is still a strong laning phase player. But that's what we're seeing here. It's Andy going towards the laning phase, and that's what consistently Mala has been failing at. So it's going to be Snake starting to prioritize the lane, but that changes the dynamic. This is important, and this is something now SofM has to change. For the past 2 years, he's been playing around supportive mid laners like Wogwo, and in this case, it's going to be Mala as well. Last time he's really played with an assassin mid was when Zatai was in the mid lane for that team. That's so long. Back when he had
2015.
2016.
Okay.
You're close.
Thank you, Ryze.
But that's when you had the ability to play through that lane a little bit more consistently. And now that that's not there anymore, coming right back into it, that can change a lot of what SofM can do. I want to see if it's for the better.
Yeah.
Suddenly, if you have someone roaming along that has that kill threat, then wonderful. That being said, you don't immediately take the Lissandra out of the equation because last time they played with him when they were going in BLG series, he played 2 Lissandra games.
But suddenly that Lee Sin becomes a little bit more viable in my opinion. With SofM, if he's roaming around the mid lane, if he's looking for options rather in the mid lane, Lee Sin very easily able to get in. Makes it that for Snake, playing around Andy could definitely be viable considering how far xiye got ahead. It would deny and both make Snake proactive at the same time.
I just wonder if there's a specific strategy involved.
Okay.
If you're bringing in Andy for this particular game, you'd have to, unless if it's just literally you're playing poorly 2 games in a row, you have to ship you out. I would more so think that, well, if you're bringing in Andy with this skill set, maybe pick up something like an assassin mid. Remember, Andy's the type of guy in the LDL that's played the Zed pretty, a few times.
Zed was played in over in Origin 9.3, I believe, before he gets buffed. So definitely a viable pick.
Yeah, it was before the buff that came through. So I'm just saying it's all possible.
Yeah.
So you can't just be xiye in this instant and
pick
be
up
blind
Corki.
picking the Corki. Don't blind pick the Corki.
Corki into Zed, Ryze. How much fun would that be?
No one's blind picking Zed either. Stop it with these random blind pick
Ryze,
options.
you said it demands a ban though. That's what changes up from WE. The ban going over means that something like the Olaf is available, but Snake first pick into the Kaiser instead. I just like that it demands respect.
Yep, you have to ban out the Yasuo. And as well, the Akali too. He has a wonderful Akali. So I'm just saying, he is so proficient on these champions. He is just such a sink or swim kind of player.
Yeah.
So last time we saw him when he was on that Lissandra pick, and he was going to be the primary target and had like 8 deaths at the end of the game.
Yeah,
so,
very true.
It just depends how he does in this laning phase. It's going to be about this 2v2 coming through mid.
It was a super rough game for him as well. One of the biggest death games as well for WE. Still playing around that 2v2. The Corki was hovered again, but this time it is going to be the Lissandra coming in. Most likely for xiye. Well,
so with LeBlanc being banned out here by Snake, their options going into the Lissandra is quite limited. I think Jayce is something he's gone to in the past, so I would expect Jayce to be picked up here in this matchup.
Yep.
Just depends on what Snake as a team want his role to be here, as either as a supportive player trying to help out SofM, or SofM helping out Andy. There it is.
Seems like there's going to be help indeed. So Jayce locked in there. Remembering still can be flexed technically, but we know most typically where that's going.
Yeah, it's going to be going mid. Unless if there's, we just have to see more of this composition from Team WE. Remember, Post is a mage player, so there's a chance that he might end up taking the Lissandra up top side. We'll have to see, because Flandre is the type of player that he's gone to the Kennen pick in the past, and if you have a Jayce Kennen, you have a great 1-3-1 composition. Something that Snake's pretty much played through historically. So just leaving that option wide open as he's waiting for his counter matchup.
Yeah, it seems to be the Urgot at this point. WE. It'd be a shame considering after seeing Post on the Fiora top lane, but Urgot is the match anyway.
That's what happens when you go up against truly flexible teams on blue side. Not only does Snake get the priority pick of Jayce, but they also got the counter pick on both mid lane, and they get to wait to get a counter pick on top lane. So I think Snake got the best out of the first phase I've seen most teams get, and it's mostly because WE really favored these priority picks of Lissandra and Urgot.
Been doing pretty well, Urgot especially. See if it's worth it. There's some interesting bans now coming out from both WE and Snake.
This is why when you benefit, like you really do favor these priority picks, you have to start taking out what these like niche, really hard counter picks are. Now, at this point, Yorick's not niche.
No.
But he's a pretty damn good counter pick into the Urgot.
Oh yeah. Super rough. Putting the cage up and nowhere to go. So taking away the possibility. I would say that right now the Olaf is such a big priority pick. It's amazing that it made it to the second ban phase.
That's fair. That's fair. I agree. I think SofM's he was the in solo queue, the one that ended up picking up the redemption, that really popularized it before Tarzan put it into competitive. So like that's a good point. He's always one of our best Olaf players as well. Not going to be having a hand on the Jarvan pick, but he's had a few picks that go well into it. I want to see. We're just talking about mid lane jungle synergy. I'm actually thinking Sejuani here. I keep saying it, but like SofM is a great Sejuani player, and he has a lot of great melee options. So if you already have a Jayce mid lane and you know you're probably going to have a Bruiser top lane, just end up getting that extra bit of engage here.
Yep, SofM thinking about it as a big possibility. You see the Jarvan on the other side, you go, well, what can deny a lot of that? Finally, Ryze, you get it in game 3.
I mean, he's always searching for a reason to end up picking it. Yeah, Maestro's just messing with you.
Yeah.
He's that type of player. But Sejuani has still quite a bit of damage she's packing, the change that she ended up getting, and allows for a lot of the damage to come through mid lane. So this could be a Flandre Ryze. He just locks it in for himself. And people will come into this series thinking, okay, well, get yourself the Jayce top lane and a Ryze mid, and that might just end up happening with how flexible this team could be, but I would expect it to be Flandre, who's played Ryze so much last year.
Oh yeah. Flandre showing flexibility. We'll see where it actually goes. WE cap off with a Sivir. That is going to be a fast-moving composition, but you know, priority picks versus what works on the map.
A great dive threat there. Team WE, they have one focus. Asura is going to get it. Like that's just what's going to happen here. They're going to do their best. Ultimate from Sivir, Alistar, Lissandra, Jarvan. We'll have to see how it ends up happening. But 30 seconds in. Okay, there we go.
All right, that's going to be the final swap. Most likely. But it's going to be the cleanse being taken by the Jayce mid, going up against Lissandra now, a very big norm. And he does hold on to the Jayce, of course. So Flandre top lane Ryze against Post on the Urgot. And this can be a pretty difficult matchup for the Urgot.
This is going to be the biggest challenge. You're saying for Urgot, like, it's going to be a difficult matchup, and that's truthful. Like, there's a lot of AP threats that do well into it. Remember back at Worlds, it was Lissandra that FLICKR came out with that did quite well into the Urgot pick, and was able to come into these flanks. Now we're seeing Lissandra a lot in the mid lane. But Ryze has been that pick that can hold out, can scale quite well as a lane that he play through, and then he can run you down. He just machine guns ability power. But like for me, this is going to be a huge challenge to Andy. He's been trying to find his way into the lineup for Snake. And then you get to go up against xiye. Game 3. And for Snake, I mean, I already counted them out in terms of the playoff run. I don't have faith that they'll make the playoffs with their current condition. But Andy has to be that X factor for his team.
Yeah. Marla can't do it, and if he can't, then how do you play this team? Flandre and SofM, they're not enough. And even then for Snake, it has been a bit of a struggle. In the 2019 spring, this is the matchup that could define 8th and 9th.
This is a matchup that could define a player.
Yeah.
I think that if you're looking at this, Andy, Flandre, going back to what's been comfortable for them to be able to make their name in Chongqing.
In front of their home crowd. WE sounds louder, but forget that. Let's see it. Game 3 now. Snake and WE. And Andy makes his debut in this series.
Now, people are probably wondering about the Jayce matchup into the Lissandra, as I think I'm going to have some complications with water in my throat, so if I end up coughing, I apologize.
That's right, I gotcha.
But think about the Zoe matchup. People look at Zoe and say, why does Zoe end up taking this lane matchup so well? Not only can she clear a backline minion so easily when she ends up like getting a few levels in her queue, but on top of that, like Lissandra's trading patterns are so important in how she's able to land down her aftershock resistance, and of course that she can slowly push the wave, that she has that priority. But like these combat champions like CP Trouble Bubble, high damage, so she doesn't even need to proc your aftershock, so that's just like the raw DPS getting on top of Lissandra. Easy. That's the major threat Lissandra has to deal with when she doesn't have that much mobility. It's the same deal with the Jayce.
Yep, that's say super easy for the area as well, just to add some of that damage to the list. And you're going to get a lot of sustain from Andy, who's taking inspiration here as well. That seems to be the main focus of this game, really, unless we start looking at Flandre's Ryze, but a little bit too early with the phase rush Ryze in the top lane to comment anything just yet.
Really early on, you'd still expect Lissandra to have shove in this one. And he's just going to be picking it up like just waves underneath his own tower.
Yep.
We'll have to see here. Beishang's in the area, but only, I would say, to get to the next Scuttle Crab and to contest that. And to be in the area for a counter gank. So we'll have to see if SofM can pick up this Scuttle.
He just used the EQ combo.
Oh,
I don't think he's going to be here in time. No. SofM hits it. EQ back on up. That doesn't land. So beishang in the 1v1 here, I'm not too sure. I'd actually favor SofM. The post is coming on in. And we'll just get half health. SofM now being pressured at the blue buff, but Len's taken first if SofM. And blue buff going to be taken under the Veil of Night.
SofM doesn't have his dash because remember he had his W for the trades. So he's going to be fine. Missing isn't, though.
Yeah, Missing just snuck up in the brush, but it backfires heavily. And sure, and Maestro get the better trade.
So I have to deal with the wave, and that's the whole game here. And Mystic and Missing are going to try the hardest to push this one in and give openings for beishang on the bottom side of the map.
Super easy for him to get here at the moment. It's just deep warding again. beishang, although he doesn't get the double scuttle, heads up to the top side of the map. I think went back to his own jungle. While look at SofM, just sneaking his way up to this tri-brush.
But Post is playing this one out super respectfully. He already knows that the range that Flandre has, full mana too. So he's just going to lose out trades. He doesn't want to deal with that. Rune Prison sets up for ganks so easily too. So there's a lot that he doesn't want to deal with. And oftentimes you don't see Ryze top lane, even if the matchup is healthy, because of how easy it is for him to just fall behind. So
yep.
He requires on jungle attention. Here comes
a very early dive. Post is going to be permafrost in a second. One more auto gets hit down.
Oh, no!
But the flash away. SofM drops, but first blood does go to Flandre.
At least he loses a thick wave, but 5 seconds, he might be able to at least catch the backline wave. It really depends on when the teleports end up coming through, because being able to trade back and get the kill on SofM is pretty damn nice.
Yeah, that's so good from Post as well. We'll pick up the majority of this wave so it doesn't lose too much.
Here comes, oh no, Andy!
Speak of tempo, Andy's way too far forward. Flashes and cleanses. That's a rough start here for the mid laner of Snake.
It's not looking too good. I mean, beishang was going to be coming through mid lane, and SofM has a lot to work with.
Yeah.
Going top lane for a gank, and even if he comes out healthy there, Andy needs that help as well. So double summoners being expended on Andy, he's not going to be able to help SofM pick up these raids.
It's just left to a smite fight, which who does it
Got
go
it.
to? SofM does get it. That's a win as he's now level 4, but
Oh, dab on him.
Yeah, do it.
Look at it.
Now notice SofM didn't actually pick up his blue buff as beishang came in before and invaded. Looked for the timing there. So SofM, I feel like he's just left that so he can get the timing advantage, but we'll look at the die.
Okay, first and foremost, J4 going for Krugs is risky, so we'll see what ends up happening there. Okay, he's just going to pick Like, I was more interested in that than the dive itself because that's usually the riskiest play you can make is taking Krugs away from a bottom lane that's sitting there. It was warded too.
Yeah. He just backs off in the end. But I think bottom lane just picked it up over it as well. Andy, this is not good. He's already falling behind. That wave is going to be denied. No teleport on the Jayce means that you can't do anything here.
At least he's got a Dirk coming back into the wave, so like for him, this is when it should start working out for him in these trades. Like early on, he was just going to be farming up, but now expect SofM to have a little bit more of a footprint in this one. He wants to be looking for an early skirmish, which would mean SofM's going to be in the area for a counter gank. I guess he's going to try and stop his base.
I don't think he can do much more. Only level 5. Won't have the range anyway, just to waste that ultimate. beishang is a level behind, knowing that the mid lane's backing away, but xiye cancels last minute. Level 6 now. Glacial Path. xiye is the only one who has that ultimate available. Post runs on in. This is just a tank fight at the moment. I'm not sure. Frost shot blast here from Andy. Turns his way back around. Andy diving on in with SofM. They change the pace here, but bopped away as Missing might have committed his life. Has the flash, which he will burn. Flandre just pokes him out too.
That was huge from Andy. That was a lot of damage that you definitely could tell J4 could not take. So
yep.
Great response to go right back on them. SofM burning his flash for it, but overall, like, really well played from Snake. Just punching right back.
Even after getting pushed out, getting that serrated Dirk made all the difference there for Andy. And we'll take another look at that as SofM is running for his life.
Alright, so he's going to be quite tanky for himself. And remember, Post is not level 6 here. The only one that is 6 is xiye and doesn't have mana, really. So at that point, you should be heading right back out. But the experience pays for SofM in particular, and Flandre knows he can come and help. So picking up beishang, and there was a real chance that they could go for Post as well.
Pretty good reaction play there from Snake. You want to see SofM on the Sejuani, and seems to be very active early on. This is a turnaround from Andy. xiye, of course, doesn't have any mana, so there's nothing he can do, nor is he backed to actually pick up part of his first item.
This is when the matchup should be good for Andy. Like, talked about the serrated Dirk coming through. It was rough and tumble early on, but now SofM's going to be paying more mind. Like, he already got the dive topside for Flandre, and Flandre is doing well for himself already.
Yeah.
So Flandre doesn't need no help anymore. SofM can pay all of his attention to the bottom side of the map, and he may need to combat this early dragon take.
No vision on it. There's a control ward behind for SofM just to stop those early invades that have been coming through, but now picks up level 6, is heading straight towards it. Get that raptor out of here. SofM might be a little bit too late.
He does have a control ward, but you wouldn't want to expend a control ward just yet.
Look at him thinking about it. Hang on. When is it?
Where is the enemy bottom lane? He has a good idea. He has a good idea.
Okay, well, ult's very late. But
Nice.
yeah, ultimate down for the Sejuani, but that is an Ocean Drake, and followed by another one. Good on WE for just having so much priority on the dragon again.
I don't even know why you throw out the ultimate there. SofM is like, I don't have flash, and I don't want to risk my life for it. But I'll scare him a bit.
Yeah. That's alright. That's
Keep
worth. Just show them who the boss is.
Yeah. Mind games.
Moves from the dragon up to this mid lane brush. Look at where he is. Look at SofM. Mid 2v2 in the LPL was more popular than...
Ooh, Andy's got to watch himself here.
Andy level 7 now, but lockdown Dragonflag there once again. xiye full lockdown, the Cataclysm there too, and Andy trying to turn it around, but he can't. xiye invulnerable again with the Frozen Tomb. SofM trying to take this as Finance comes in. Sorry, his name is Flandre. xiye of the side. The flash is there again. Lockdown ready for SofM, but can't find the final hit. Flandre has enough mana to get the combo off, but taken with a blast going Vivi on death. It's a messy fight. Realm Warp doesn't work out. Flandre cannot save his jungler. Post comes on in, and boy, I'm not even sure what happened.
I just know that Snake's paying for it.
Yeah. That's pretty rough.
Tom Kench, smiley face. Like, that's when they were going so hard in the paint for xiye. We're so close to being able to net the kill. And a lot of that was just at the very beginning. Andy thought that he had the jungle pressure to the right of him because Sejuani had been there and beishang had played it very patiently. So there's not much you can do here as if you're Andy, because at this point you think that I'm safe to my right. So he gets picked off, teleport comes through, They get the first kill, but unfortunately, Lissandra can keep moving.
Yeah.
And the cheeky thing about that is xiye does enough damage to SofM to make it so Post gets an easy kill here. I just wanted to see the interaction with Ryze, and yeah, it doesn't matter where he goes. I thought he was just going to be pulled across the map, but yeah, there we go.
Into the realm warp, into the belly, doesn't matter. That's 2 kills for Post early. This is more of an interaction from Post, because last game he just stuck in the side lane. Had a good time, got a couple of kills to add into the mix by the 20-minute mark, but it was a big start for the Urgot top.
And being active early on, if you look at Snake's composition, they need that lead. Snake does not want their Jayce falling behind alongside the Ryze. At that point, they just lose out so much. Wave clear is not there anymore, so this is Snake desperate to keep the lead early.
And he's trying to force that in the mid lane, as you just saw there, getting a bit of damage onto xiye as he clears out the wave, meaning Andy can start moving across and denying beishang. He's going for more invades. This is pretty straightforward. We've learned a lot about beishang in this series. Hello.
Ooh. At least Andy is that close to his own jungler, because right now Alistar and beishang are looking for him.
And he's not going to get caught here by beishang. What is happening at the top side? That was just a scuttle taken there by SofM.
No scuttle fight this time. SofM wins this round.
SofM is a level behind, however, so it comes down to a smite fight, which is a very different kind with the Rift Herald up. We'll go over to the side of beishang.
Maybe they can get xiye.
Yeah, they've found the Glacial Prison again. This is locked down onto xiye. Ultimate, there's so much ice in this game. Cataclysm down as well. xiye out of it, but Flandre just comes in. And beishang, howdy ho, neighborino. He's out of there. WE, they lose the mid laner. This is a good pick here for Snake.
You love to see SofM and Andy working alongside each other. xiye had no way to escape through. You know, he was trying to help beishang out really early on, but was in no man's land. So good pick.
Means the Rift Herald will start getting taken down as well. If I'm not mistaken, move those pings out of my vision. Oh no. Actually not started there as SofM backed away. But it doesn't mean the possibility is still available. Post is like, ooh, they're not here.
Just trying to pick out good back timings. Andy was able to get a good one on that one, because if they stuck around for a Rift Herald, then they would lose mid lane tower just outright.
Yep.
beishang, xiye, just moving the area. So it was just a good call for Youmuu's Ghostblade being picked up by Andy, and he gets to meet the wave halfway alongside xiye.
Oh yeah, that's going to hurt. xiye, Seeker's Armor Guard, not going to be enough. You can see that he's more than likely, might actually just sit on that and go for the first item in lieu of his Echo instead, while having the Seeker's Armor Guard, but it's much like when you see an AD carry optimized for the Hex Drinker, slows down that first item.
Oh, we'll see if Flandre can get out of this one, because here comes Jarvan.
Level 10 versus level 9. beishang, is he in quick enough?
Get
The
out?
Realm Warp's there. He gets flipped around. He can't get out. Fear Beyond Death is in, and Flandre is out.
Sad face. And it's not like last year, where you could press stopwatch and everything is K.
Oh, that's right.
There's a way for him to get out of that one, but it's just difficult. Post had just stopped him. Now it's going to be difficult for him to ever position out of that one. So
That was a rough meta.
good call. Yeah, it was.
It was totally unfair. Doesn't matter how hard you played.
My favorite thing was just watching Exile be on the side lane and
Oh, yeah. And
the old EU LCS, but now LEC.
Mm-hmm.
Just non-stop split pushing.
That was super painful. When you commit 4 members top, it's like, well, no.
This was going to be equally painful.
No, Mystic just blocks away from the Glacial Prison, but there's still full engage here on the Mystic. Locked on down. One more hit of the Void Seeker would do it, but not going to find it there. Good ultimate from Maestro, slowing the pace of the fight, but Mystic's still coming around.
Lens, or at least the spell shield down pack, flash away from a lot of it.
Yeah.
And they get a counter fight on mid lane. So beishang should be able to get mid lane tower off of what was a great committal from Snake that was countered out by Mystic.
Solid Turret Gold as well. There's going to the jungler. He's going to be a bit of a nuke moving into this mid game, but Rift Herald won't be able to take it down. Andy just in time.
All right, good timing. But that's an investment now. They could run around mid.
Double Ocean too. W not too bad. I always look at the team compositions when I see Oceans and I'm like, who does it favor? And then I always end up saying, everyone, you know? Who
Early
can get in
on,
and get out. Yeah.
Really early on, I think in the laning phase, Ocean Dragons are wonderful. Post 14 minutes, when teams start to really lead the laning phase, it's not that beneficial until you really start to stack it up. So yeah, double Ocean, still pretty dang good.
Ezreal's, you know, absolutely love it.
Yeah, and I think in this case, if you're dealing with Andy's poke a little bit, then at least you can stick around in the lane. The decision is there for you.
Yep.
Stick around in the lane, or you can head right back. In this case, xiye will be pretty damn happy about it.
Yeah, he's almost level 11. It's going to be key for the second level Frozen Moon. Missing backs by himself, but then turns for the re-engage with Unbreakable Will. Maybe just still trying to make the escape as Missing doesn't have enough damage here. Doors up, Icathian Rain's in. Asura not willing to ulti there, surprisingly enough.
That's what happens when the player wants the base at, like, you know.
Oh no.
Oh no.
beishang.
Oh!
Who is it? Well, he gets mid-Arctic assaulted. Cataclysm in, flushes out. Who matches him? It is SofM. 1, 2, 3. Let's find a smite. Get out of there, beishang. Will he survive? Dragon Flag, he's out. Gets stunned up with the Winter's Bite and the mixed combo. Angry cat indeed.
Yeah, he's mad. Don't touch me.
Can't believe he got out. All the way from river to inner turret.
Even used the Grump as a bodyguard too. Oh, this is going to be fun. I think Post is not going to have fun with this.
Yeah,
though.
he's definitely not. Flandre's got the health advantage. Post does hit him and nick him for a few. Flandre has a level advantage here too, which means nothing because that's a realm walk.
He's running out of mana here, so he might just want to clear in base.
He doesn't have Ocean Dragon.
That's true.
Oh.
Who are you going to blame for that one?
This is how you win as Urgot. Someone's going to win that top lane. At the moment, it is only Flandre. But with the 3 kills, it kind of evens it out just a little bit more. There's no first item for Flandre as well, so that's what's keeping him behind of nuking down posts.
Yeah, Glacial Shroud is a nice pickup just so you have the mana base, and on top of that, you can deal with the AD Post is dishing out. So I like that. Appreciate it.
Get a Frozen Heart.
No. Just not going to let that one happen.
Okay. I mean, who would you get it against in this team anyway, but you're right.
That's another no for me, buddy.
We'll get the first item now, though. That's an Archangel Staff picked up. The here was stacking up nicely, so I assume we'll be looking at very close to a Seraph's Embrace. I mean, 16 minutes into the game, usually around the 20-minute mark, the latest. We'll see that fully stacked up.
That's true. And so, like, that's that extra bit of shielding on top of the passive shield that Ryze gets you. Like, there's so much mobility that Ryze can get for himself in a fight. He has a... He's a Phase Rush, Ryze 2. So, we'll have to see what ends up coming through in a lot of these team fights. It's going to be really interesting because at least SofM has the easy go single as his ultimate.
Yep.
I guess this is it.
He's going to use it right now. beishang's already used the EQ combo and gets locked down. The ult there as well. Can beishang move? The answer going to be no, as even Flandre flashes over. That's a lot of commitment for a big Arctic bull.
Yeah, I mean, look, Merctrez there was doing its work. He was getting out of a lot of the stacking CC, and then he didn't really have the way to deal with the stacking members.
Yep.
Flashed in from Flandre, got the job done.
You see the easy lockdown coming through here from Snake. And with that pick as well, it means mid lane open to them. xiye sticking around, wave clear possibility, but xiye, okay, defends it easily. There is no damage out from Snake.
And W still has the gold lead. That's what's so crazy about this. This composition from WE is great in the late game, but the early game advantage that they've been having has been great. There's still Snake, though, trying to find a way to wrestle back. Take a look. He gets out of the Eve easily. He gets out of the ultimate easily. Would have been fine here. He doesn't have his flash, but I'm just waiting on the next flagging drag. But no, Flandre is not going to let him.
He got out of the last one. He's not getting out of this one. There was 4 chains of CC, just stacked back to back pretty much. Rough for beishang, but not rough for WE yet. You mentioned the gold lead before. It's 1,000 WE's favor still. With that turret going down in the bottom lane, there's a lot of push, a lot of shove from this Sivir, of course. And now with that turret down, might be able to move to the mid lane.
Black Cleaver's there from Andy. I would like to see him in the side lane a little bit more. Get Asura the mid lane. Because I want them to be able to pick up some of these side lane turrets, and it's been harder for them. Oh, it might be hard. beishang's lying in wait.
But it's a 2v3. Not sure if WE want to take this anymore. Dissuading them as Missing is coming in. Maybe more of a possibility now starting the fight.
Jayce is in the area now, so he's in position if a fight were to occur. But once again, stuck in the mid lane. But if Asura, like, if they end up switching their assignments, Andy bottom lane, Asura, Maestro mid, get more vision control, cater towards top side so they can move towards the Baron buff, perhaps.
Yep.
But they can actually start picking up these side lane turrets that's been evading them.
How much harder is it going to be, though, for Snake? Because they're waiting in this river, just waiting for WE to come out. WE keeping the advantage towards the slower pace of this game. And he may have found Missing.
He's found a lot of people.
On the
I don't think he can get out of this.
Did he get out? No. Tries to get back in the realm wall. Flandre is going to be dead here. Gets a bit of a shield from the passive. Come on. There he goes.
What was even the strategy there?
Get out, get in. SofM is picking the go-in strategy.
Oh, I like
Even
this
Andy
strategy.
flashes forward. They're on to Mystic. Andy gets him into the backline. The Jayce is just pile driving on this fight, but in comes Asura as well. So they can turn this into a very good edge for them. WE have to deal with xiye in the backline, and for Asura, now this is harsh because Post comes in. Two-man knockup. WE are just turning over to Asura next as well. The 80 carry is dead, Master Wayne, and WE just turn that back around.
Post and xiye are behemoths. What the hell? Snake looked so good to start in that fight. But the moment Urgot started trudging through and you're like, alright, but I don't know how he's going to get an entrance into the fight. xiye gets a huge amount of burst that layers through. I'm like, okay, that's one way to do it. Real well done for those two members to save that fight, because it looked real good with Andy just diving straight through on top of Mystic.
The Urgot is a pain to deal with as well. 5-1 now, pretty much unkillable at the 20-minute mark, and we'll see how it started.
Okay, but it does start with something stupid. Like Flandre and Andy being this far up alone was real random. But then they do end up saving it. SofM finding a target into the backline on the Mystic, and then Andy following through that quickly. I like that. Mystic was no longer a factor, and suddenly you could say that they're even in this one. But then the issue came through with how xiye ended up playing through. Finds 3 members and holds them 4. Post finds the target on Maestro, and he ends up like chasing him down. So the 3 remaining members on Team WE definitely saved the fight that was saved by Snake.
Yep. xiye picking up the last kill of that fight means that he's now picked up his first and his second item. Very, very relevant in the face of the Jayce. And off the back of that replay, another Ocean, triple Ocean Drake over to WE.
Oh, nice.
I don't care what time it is. A triple of anything's just great.
I mean, triple Ocean time is always a good time.
He's losing health here. Even skirting around the Baron after picking it up. They're threatening it. They're dangerous. They're spooky. Say all the words you want about WE right now. This game is not about xiye. This game is much about Post.
Post getting the job done. You talked about the performance that he had on the Fiora in particular. And I think that his Fiora play really showed that the team could play around a split pusher pretty quickly, pretty easily.
Yep.
That was nice to be able to see that that was something they could do. The only thing that I was a little bit skeptical on is just the coordination with Post and team fights. Now, that was a pretty weird one. I mean, that fight wasn't clean by any nature.
Nope.
But it was still nice that Post can come in and execute the game plan. So, like, that was, if I were to grade it, if I were to put a letter grade, it's like a B. It's a passing grade.
Okay.
Some people would like it. Some people will hate it.
Alright. How does he get an S?
Depends what family you're from.
Okay.
The standards your family hold depends on whether you like it or not.
Well, B is not good in any culture, I feel. xiye caught out here again. That's good lockdown. He's just going to die. Ults quickly, but Snake are already on top of it. There's no way xiye gets out of this. Actually uses the Zonyas in the end as well. Just to waste time while WE reposition.
Got that shutdown goal too. So a lot of time wasted on WE's end. You were able to pick up a lot of gold there as well. So I love what I got to see here. Now, something I want to talk about, a little bit of harping point, is that first item here for SofM is Warmarks. Once upon a time that was great when the passive from Sejuani was like based off of just full armor, magic resist. Not bonus, but it's bonus now.
It is.
So now people are going towards Knight's Vow, like something that gives you armor really early on, while still being able to give you some form of HP. Going Warmogs is, you're going to see yourself blown up.
Yeah. Will it come through here from 2 members? No, but maybe 3. Missing is still found in the flag and drag again. SofM on the backside. There's a Cataclysm there, but has to ult. That is Asura. Missing is chasing him down. Bopped on back. Snake are split off here with 4 members of WE coming in. Maestro is going to be next. SofM did get blown up to be confirmed. And even Flandre trying to come in. This is pretty angry from Flandre and Andy. 3v4.
They know that they're going to have to stick around because Baron's going to be our target for Team WE.
Can they even go in? I mean, Andy wants to blow up Missing first, but he's on zone patrol.
I don't have a ward here. That can be easily cleared. So they have to, like, all eyes are on Andy and what damage he can do.
Oh, missing the flank there. Perfect onto Andy. He doesn't commit fully, but now Andy to the turnaround can't get through the Unbreakable Will. The lockdown there with the shock blast. 5K
In there.
to Baron. Andy jumps on in. Maybe too quickly there to go golden though. Flandre machine gunning down. Andy here with the ultimate from the Urgot. Post flips him back. Flandre now not as much of a factor.
Asura.
But Asura is following up. Asura doesn't have the ulti but ready to jump back.
What?
In jumps xiye. And what indeed.
I don't know about that one, brother. I don't know about that one.
He could feel it. He could feel the sand between his toes, Ryze.
Yeah, he felt something.
Yeah.
He felt something. But he's definitely going to be feeling the pain on this one. Baron buff, unless if beishang could do it. No, don't say it's so. Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, ult's going to be expended as well. He's out. And Baron's up for Snake. 2 members to commend in that fight, Ryze, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
You talking about xiye?
no, for Snake's side.
Okay, all right. You know,
Okay.
it's still xiye.
Probably talking about Flandre. Andy had,
Andy was heroic.
Yeah.
The stopwatch was sick. Getting right on top of Mystic. Now, a lot of people out there, analysts, talking about Mystic. Why is he positioned outside of the pit, next to the major target? And I would agree with you. But doesn't change the fact that Mr. Jayce man himself saw it. Now, this is a really weird interaction, but he used his Q to get on top of Missing, so Mystic couldn't actually push him into his own team. But Andy sees him. Look, the moment Mystic is just out there, and to be fair to him and the rest of the rest of the team were blinking HP bars too. So that was just a really hard fight for them to play out. And then Asura, sure you can get the kill on Flandre, or very close to, but stopwatch ends up coming through. I just want to see this. Oh! Nah. Not happening.
Okay, so Flandre flashed away, but still xiye just really wanted to go back in. This costs the Baron against WE. Snake now have the gold lead for one of the first times this game.
Guardian Angel there for Andy too, so they want to pick up a fight. beishang, calm down now.
He's been called out Mystic, thank you. But it doesn't matter at this stage of the game. Shock Blast not doing too much from Andy. That's the trade-off of getting the GA rather than the Duskblade.
Much better for him to do that. Gives him the all-in potential too. So we're gonna have to see. Still doing some considerable damage. The only problem is that it's a triple Ocean Dragon, that is.
Yeah, but he wants to jump in. That's what you said. xiye has been locked in the backline. WE losing this fight very quickly. Mystic totally just survives it straight onto the backline. Asura here free firing again, and Flandre's joining in with the machine gun battle. 2 quick kills, and that's for WE. A disaster here in game 3.
Trying to hold that outer turret, but you see the flank starting to form. They can stick around in longer fights, but Snake won it nice and compact, so there's no way for you to push him out.
WE going to give this out. What are the pings doing in the middle of the map? I'm not too sure. Just absolutely going hand. There's some deep boards there set up for a flank, but Snake already too quick as xiye gets 3-man torn down. The turnaround from WE, but Fear Beyond Death from post just before he dies. Could be enough. Mystic again. The civil win condition at 27 minutes. SofM, run, Piggy, run! Mystic is getting him. Yes, he does. Oh, it's pork for dinner tonight instead.
That was real uncoordinated. At least Asura is still alive. I thought he was going to die off the burn damage that was hitting him. But at the same time, Andy was bottom lane. He was working on the bottom outer turret, and he thought that the team could do it without him. But that's a huge, huge blow right now, because they're going to be losing inhibitor.
Yeah, massive death time as 2 members lose the Baron buff, and it's expiring soon anyway. Now, they might not lose the inhibitor, but the inhibitor turret definitely going to go down. Flandre safe keeping away from getting supers into the base.
Huge mistake at this point. And I think it's only an issue of communication, because Andy could have easily joined the team. But he recognized that, hey, you know what, they're not going to make too much of a risk. This is a tower we need to take down really early on. I mean, this is just gold that we really need to accrue. So paying attention to the side waves is never a bad idea.
Yeah.
Just really comes down to what the call actually is. This is a great play from Snake to begin with. Like, in a flank position, Andy putting in a whole lot of damage, while Flandre and Asura were just going in front to back. Great stuff. I mean, if you fast forward that, there we go. I actually just have no control, by the way. I just know that they want to commit to the play, but can't because we're in late game.
Yeah.
And late game WE versus Snake means that you can't play on a replay for that long.
You definitely can't. It's 29 minutes in. It's not even typical late game. It's Snake WE late game. When you have a composition that forces out each other, and of course I'm speaking about WE, you know, beishang still key to this engage. SofM the same.
Wow.
Xiye just loses half of his life.
Shock Blast and Asura W.
That's, you know, that's what happens when you eat donuts after donuts after donuts. 26 kills, 29 minutes. Let's pretend those are years of your life. At 26, if you eat that much donuts, that's what's going to happen.
Alright, there we go.
Okay. Eat healthy, eat salad. Hey, xiye.
I can do what I want.
3 items. The Lissandra has not been a factor. Let's compare Corki to the Lissandra.
Okay,
Very
well,
different
okay.
champions.
The game has been long enough, but Lissandra's been a huge factor earlier on in the game.
Yeah,
It's just more so what her position now, when it's going front to back and she's not able to come in to flank area. It's hard. It's real hard. He doesn't have flash either, so not being able to make that play and opening from Mystic is the difficult part. But Mystic is starting to get huge. You already saw what the benefactor of that one was. So the last team fight, he was already that close to killing Asura. Was able to nail down SofM. And you get up out of here.
Still should have the burst, but can he take the 1v1?
It's never a 1v1 at this stage of the game.
Yeah, but another Spider Dirk is there. Remember, there's no other teleport on the side of WE. It's just xiye. So if you can catch him out in the side lane, Post does have the ghost, but how far off the teleport?
They have a good push in the bottom lane. Snake had Flandre shove up bot side just before Baron is a factor. Now, they may not have the pressure here, so they have to still play patiently. Bottom lane is going to be like a ticking time bomb in favor of Snake. They just need to get this mid lane pushing. They have no idea, though.
Things waiting around the side. Baron's up now. Snake trying to catch them in between the jungle.
Just don't all in. If you're Snake, no, please stop.
No, we might all in. SofM first. Who's last?
Push mid, please.
Okay.
Force the team to actually pick up the mid wave. Then you can clear out the Baron warriors. This is why whenever it's Snake later on in this game, I don't know what goes on in the mind of SofM. What it is, I mean what it isn't patience.
Yeah. Look, it's blind now. They're like, yeah, let's just wait. This is not the worst play in the book.
Look, just wait until you see someone bottom lane. That's all you gotta do.
Or start Baron.
Nope.
If you want to think like Snake,
Please don't.
they're going towards it. Hang on. Well, Snake are there. More just baiting out with the control ward down as well.
They still need someone mid to hold the wave. Now they're just gonna go for it.
Yep, alright, the Snake Vine continues. That's a pick out onto beishang. Know that the bottom lane are now posing around. But rather WA, their bottom lane is coming back into the fray of things. At this point in the game, if you're a WE or Snake fan, you just look up and you say, please.
You know deep down it's gonna turn into a 50-50. And you're just hoping that the coin flip comes in your favor.
There's a scuttle grab there and they don't care. WE, here we go.
They're going in.
Oh, they're 50-50.
Oh,
Who wins out?
no!
WE win it. The Cataclysm's in. Look at the constant knockups as well. Snake now have to fight their mini front to back with Asura and Flandre. If they die, this game is over. Asura first. He's going to drop the flushes away. Flandre next. Flushes everywhere there. As SofM and Andy are left on the other side. Andy somehow survives. Mystic almost dies. Somehow. What just happened, right? Go for it. Give me your analysis. Let's go.
Heads or tails?
I guess WE got heads. Good steal from beishang. But that's what happens when you have a 50-50. What is the level difference? Oh, it doesn't matter.
It literally doesn't matter.
Well, that's an infernal as well. So not only do you give your team the Baron, all 4 of them, as xiye died in the fight, you spawn the Elder, and we'll watch how.
Feel bad, but xiye get up. Even if the Baron buff went over, I think xiye stood up for the fight, and you could see Mystic in a very safe position. They would have won that.
Yep.
So Team WE assured themselves that they would be able to pick up a team fight victory. It still got really sticky because Andy gets right back up and SofM re-engages. So, wow. Yeah, Scorch too, just not being able to apply there, I guess.
That's pretty rough though. Mystic has hit his moment. 9.2 Phantom Dancer. There's just a lot of crit coming out of Mystic. 4 items on the Sivir.
Let's go.
But have they found a good on the hunt there? Mystic just dodges out of everything. Look at the happy feet there from the 80 carry of WE. This is where Ricochet comes into face though, Raz. WE have got everything they need. Mystic is not dying here. Boomerang played out. I'm not looking at Flandre just yet. Let's focus on Mystic because he's got Andy. He finds one. The Boomerang from downtown will get it all. And Mystic now just charges forward.
Yeah, they have an objective in mind. They already have a minion wave, and they want to get this game done.
WE is sick of it. They stole the Baron. They stole the hearts of Snake fans. And now into the top lane. Asura is going to drop down as well. Almost, as the support stops him from backing away. That is enough. WE, let's can it here. Asura's just joined the fight once again. Post flips him over. Mystic takes down the Braum. And look at Asura. He's just going to have to watch as his Nexus falls in Game 3. And WE pick up yet another win.
I don't even know who's going to pick up MVP, but I have gut feeling it's going to be beishang. Because when you get into Team WE versus Snake, you know it's going to go the distance. Game 3.
Yep.
That was an assured point. That's like you just knew it was going to happen. It's a fact. Baron still? Yeah, it's going to happen. Kandi may not be there, but Snake and WE, they're not going to get the slow push down packed on the bottom side that's going to really help Snake out. And at the end of the day, it's going to be about them just ramming heads. Oh, keep going, keep going.
It's okay.
No, keep going. Thank you.
We could give a new nickname to beishang, Raz.
What?
You know, the son of Baron.
No.
You know? Condi may not be in the team, but beishang, hey.
No.
Grandson of Baron.
Look, if you're on like one of our last place teams and your only win condition that later on, if you're afraid to start the fight, is to just steal Baron, I ain't giving you no nicknames. You ain't getting nothing. And when you get something, it's not going to sound good. It's supposed to sound bad.
Yep.
It's just sad. So at the end of the day, Team WE picks this one up, and it's still important to pick up these victories as it comes by. And it's very Nest-like. They deserved it technically because the first 2 games that they had were huge early game leads.
Yeah.
It's Snake finding these chaotic fights to come right back into it, and like yeah, this is huge, isn't it?
Yeah. Dude, that was a good summary of the game. Just sorry to interrupt your point. The goal difference over time.
That tells
the story. Sorry,
that's all you need to see.
What were you saying?
Oh, end point is like you may still be able to mess up a team's momentum, get these crazy team fights, and I think that beishang and missing when coming into team fight initially, early on in this series, like them being that green makes sense for why they weren't there to be able to protect Mystic and xiye to be able to get that game stay around Baron buffs, but they adapted. The pick ban got a lot better for them. Team fighting is a lot easier when you have an Alistar there for missing. And so for the end of the day, like they could match fight for fight, engage for engage. And the end of the day, smite for smite.
Smite for smite.
Like that's what it feels like.
It's a good way for WE to end a series which we knew was going to go the distance, as you said before. Yep. It was kind of going to be very bloody. Against Snake, this was a very not subtle ending, a very common ending.
Yep.
I think to a series with this kind of potassium. I don't know. Raz, there it is
Look,
again.
Look, they fed beishang a lot of potassium in this one. End of the day, you just set yourself up for a wonderful team fight for Team WE. So, like, in an amazing situation for Snake. Let's say Snake ends up picking up Baron here. Mystic and Missing have already got the team fight set down. So, yep. I think Snake ends up losing the fight. But, to be fair, they got 3 people out of there. So 3 people out. The game's probably going to go much longer now that they have 3 Baron buffs. So these are all hypothetical situations. But the fact of the matter is, beishang stole Baron. Give that man MVP.
beishang deserves it. And beishang deserves it throughout this series. Yeah. 3 games of Jarvan, 3 good performances. The new WE jungler turns this team from outlier like 14th, 15th, maybe 13th to, potentially 10th, 9th, or 8th.
Remember, there are 2 series out of playoffs. Well, technically 1, but 2 series to be able to just like easily say that they're in a playoff position. So for them, it's not that far-fetched. For the Team WE to be able to get in there, they need to make a few more upsets.
Hey, let's talk about those series. Vici Gaming and Rogue Warriors. That's what comes up in their strength of schedule here. They might versus IG, BLG. We've got here V5, which is also realistic.
That's good.
TOP and JDG. But everything else is a big chance that they can upset.
Very realistic to take down JDG too, because if we're aligning just like the strength of Team WE, it's through Mystic. And a lot of the times, teams that end up having much stronger bottom lanes, we also saw this from EDG, allows them strategic advantage of focusing topside. Zoom gets put down, and suddenly your duo lane, left on an island, comes out ahead. I think JDG right now need to find themselves a little bit more, because right now they're in the playoff picture, but with how they're currently playing, they could find themselves out very quickly.
Very inconsistent, especially when you compare their IDG game to their most recent series
Yep.
as well. But we're still on the topic of WE and Snake. For Snake, this is kind of chaos now because OMG and LGD are their easiest matchups. They got RNG V5 and JDG. With the way Snake's going, it's not looking too good.
Yeah, because remember, they needed a whole lot more to get themselves into the playoff position last time. When we were running that whole FF15 segment, I said that, look, top 8 looks stacked. Like, already looking at it from the outside in, you're basically saying it's going to be a fight between Suning, Sino Dragons, Billy, and it's only really because you're saying that Billy has a real like tough schedule going into end the season, split that is. But like they're in a pretty good spot as is. So like that's a huge battle to find yourself in top 8. And you're looking just outside of that and you're like, wait, do I believe that Snake have improved from the beginning of the split to now? Not big enough.
No.
Not at all. And you got to see WE, like early game's great. They adapted within the series. Like they deserve the victory.
2019's been about those new players, whether they're on WE or whether they're new teams as a whole. Beishang and Post. You know, Post had a very good game 3. Post had a better series than maybe the start of the split as a comparison.
100%. And I think the veteranship is something to pay attention to too.
Okay.
Because like xiye, gold medalist,
Very
Asian
true.
games, so strong. He dictated this series. Like even though I kept saying beishang, it's like xiye literally forced Snake into a position where they had to bring out Andy. And like even Andy, the reason why they didn't have him to begin with is because that changes everything for Snake, for how they play the game and the confidence that they have in Andy and being able to play competitive. So like that kind of like bringing in someone that's only had like one series with Billy, and then like a game here. Week 7, that's not enough time. They made the decision to put the time on Amala and then realize that I guess at this point that was the wrong decision to do.
Maybe, not working. But, Raz, look, it's that time again.
Give it to me.
Classic time. Give it a beishang. Why not? Yeah?
All
Why
right.
not? He deserves it.
Why not?
He deserves
Yep. Get that Baron. Smite it. Yeah.
it. You are the man of the match.
Flag drag smite. That's what we're talking about, man.
Yeah.
That's the conversation. We're not having a discussion here.
Okay.
There's no analyzing it, all right? It's like, what's happening? How you doing? How's your day? Flag dragon smite.
Yeah, that's pretty much
He's a very simple person. You wake up in the morning, that's all he could say, and guess what? That's the job. He gets the job done.
WE breed junglers that just love to steal Baron, you know?
Stop it. Don't compare beishang to Kandi in 2017.
Why not? We'll get there. Just give it a year, Raz.
That was quality Worlds, performances versus a team that's struggling in the bottom of the barrel of the LPL. Stop it.
Let's wait till summer. Let's
This is
bring
how
up
I
the
kick you.
standings. Let's bring up the standings.
I'm being serious.
I know you're being serious. Don't help me.
So like here's the bottom line. Rogue Warriors LGD are at the bottom. Now Snake are close to being at that point. They still have a few series, like one series technically, to find themselves still like vying for it. But 4-4 right now, WE are that close. Point differential is really what's taking them out. Just like 3-point differences. That's just like they go the distance quite frequently. They go to game 3s, and that's what it really just comes down to. But one series victory, that's when you got to see like Team WE come in, because series matters first. So Team WE are so close to getting into that playoff spot.
I would say at this point as well, maybe 6 to 7 wins is key. You know, if you want to look at playoffs, it's hard to say at the moment, Raz. I know it's a very bold statement, but 6 to 7 seems to be the number that may just secure you the spot, depending on who you join with.
And I know, like, just like if you hear about players when they're making that playoff run, I'm gonna make a quote for LeBron James just recently, just because like he made a really good point for a team that very likely will not make playoffs.
Okay.
The Los Angeles Lakers.
Okay. Yeah.
Talking about like for him, he's like as a player, he just doesn't look at the standings from time to time because like it's fickle, it changes. You just need to focus on like good performances, getting the victories whenever you can, because that's the only thing that matters. Like that's the only thing that can change, and that's just like being able to talk about the gist of the statements. Like for a lot of these teams, for WE, like if they look at the standings every day, that changes.
Yeah.
They're like, we're in the playoffs. Oh, we're out of the playoffs, right? Like that's how fickle it can be.
Yeah.
They just need to pick up as many wins as they possibly can because they are there. They're within an arm's reach to make it.
Very true. We got 4 weeks to decide that, including this week. It is week number 7. So 4 including this week. Don't think I can't count. Let's have a look at tomorrow. OMG and Sino Dragon, LGD and Suning. This is our off day, but you can catch us on Who You're in Doge.
This is when you start counting those wins. Week 7, you still got them 3 weeks to go, and Sino Dragons and Suning are on that run.
Oh, yeah.
They need to pick up these wins. If you're going up against sub 500 teams, we already said the OMG and LGD are at the bottom of the barrel. Pick up those wins, Suning.
Oh, yeah.
Suning, you can't make it 6 series in a row. You can't.
Let's look at Wednesday's matchups.
can't.
If Suning loses to LGD, then something is wrong. And I have to say, losing against OMG, we
Can't.
said something was wrong, and they cannot. This is it, though. Our match of the week opens up. RNG and FPX, do you believe in magic? Not even relevant to the play, I'm just asking.
That's like it's pretty magical. And then you have Invictus Gaming and Victory 5 to end the day.
That'll
So
be
if you're
good as
already,
well.
if you're feeling like still ecstatic, got a like pent up energy after RNG versus FPX, Invictus Gaming coming back versus like hopefully the Shy versus Jinu.
Yeah.
That's gonna be real fun to see.
It's going to be a good matchup. That's coming up on the Wednesday. Of course, it is the Monday today. We start with another week of LPL, but enough for my shenanigans. I'm going to say our shenanigans. You're with me now. This is Raz. My name's Hysterics. Thank you to our production team here. We'll be back on the Wednesday for Match of the Week. Do not miss it.